A pair of people for a lifetime, a word for a lifetime of love. In this life, I am willing to use divine doctors to dominate the world. May true love bless peace in this lifetime. Chapter 1. Wife SMS. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Hospital emergency room. Yi-Chen trembled all over and nervously grabbed his phone, sweating profusely. Yi-Chen, you are a waste that has invaded our Qin family. Do you have the face to beg us? You're a loser, it's troublesome enough to support you. Your sister's illness has nothing to do with our family. Don't look for my daughter again. She's on a business trip out of town and she'll surprise you when she comes back. Fool. Yi-Chen felt pain in his heart and mouth, tears streaming down his face. His mother-in-law's sarcastic remarks on the phone were like being fiercely stabbed in the heart with a knife. Yi-Chen was originally a descendant of a big family. At the age of 12, his family was attacked by an enemy and his sister was rescued by his master, who taught him medical skills. However, in order not to be discovered, the enemy sealed his meridians for 5 years. Since his meridians were sealed, he became a medical and martial arts genius, becoming a waste of all living beings. 5 years ago, he came to the seaside with his younger sister, who was 3 years younger than him, and they depended on each other. 3 years ago, his younger sister Yi-Chen suffered from uremia, and his body was not only unable to treat her due to the sealing of meridians, but also becoming increasingly weak. Both of them needed to take medicine to maintain their lives. Helpless, they entered the Qin family for a dowry of 100,000 yuan and became Qin Feishue's son-in-law. For 3 years, working as a cow and a horse was exhausting, and my mother-in-law was not satisfied yet. She would often beat and scold for no reason. The term waste has been used throughout 3 years. A month ago, my sister's condition worsened, and the doctor informed me that if there was no matching kidney source, she would die. Just today, I suddenly learned that there was a kidney source, but the other party wanted 300,000 yuan and also needed 200,000 yuan for surgery. Yi-Chen didn't have the money, so he couldn't call his business wife Qin Feixue on the phone. I called my parents-in-law to ask for money, but as soon as I spoke, I was scolded in a bloody manner. Just now I heard my younger sister Yi-Chen say that Qin Feixue actually asked other men to use her phone to send messages and make phone calls, telling her not to give Yi-Chen money for treatment and even asking her to die. Qin Feixue asked other men to use her phone to send messages and make phone calls. Let my sister die. Qin Feixue, you are bullying people too much. Yi-Chen associated himself with disappointment and bitterness, drowning all expectations. His head seemed to be resting on a green grassland, his heart wrenching. He stood up and walked towards the emergency room. In the emergency room, Chief Dr. Wang Anning flipped through Yi-Chen's eyelids and looked at the nearby nurse Zhang Lei. He said coldly and ruthlessly, "We don't have the money to treat the disease. Remove the equipment. Our hospital is not a charity organization." "Okay, Director Wang." Nurse Zhang Lei remained expressionless and was about to dismantle the instrument. "I don't have the money to treat my illness, I'm just wasting hospital resources here." Wang Anning scanned Yi-Chen's young and beautiful face, with a bright and sarcastic expression. "If it weren't for such a despicable waste, brother, it would only cost 500,000 yuan and I wouldn't be able to die. Ah. I'm living a poor life, I'm dying a poor ghost. I'll be lowly all my life." Even though Yi-Chen was about to die, he continued to speak ill of each other and made endless mockery. Bang! Yi-Chen pushed the door open and rushed in. Zhang Lei stopped in shock and looked up. "What are you doing? Why did you remove the instrument?" Yi-Chen asked in panic. "The person is dead." Zhang Lei explained, looking at Director Wang Anning, implying that Director Wang had arranged it. "Nonsense. My sister won't die." Yi-Chen's forehead was bulging with veins, and his voice was hoarse. "Humph. Your sister is not a fairy, how could she possibly not die? Especially with such a poor life, her lifespan is shorter and she will die early. Wang Anning was full of arrogance and disdain. Wang Anning is one of the suitors of Yi Chen's wife Qin Feixue. Yi Chen married Qin Feixue in the Qin family, which made Wang Anning lose the opportunity to pursue. In his eyes, it was just a flower planted on Yi Chen's cow dung. The Qin family, who were doing medical business, found connections to let Yi Chen work at the hospital, and happened to be under Wang Anning's command. This gave Wang Anning an opportunity to retaliate. At the beginning, when there was a shortage of manpower, Wang Anning even asked Yi Chen to help treat the illness. However, when he became the director of the nephrology department, he began to make things difficult for Yi Chen. Finally, he let Yi Chen work as a call attendant in the hall. Yi Chen had to endure the humiliation of Wang Anning because his sister had to be treated in the nephrology department. Yi Chen clenched his fist, but in the end, he lowered his voice and begged, "Director Wang, Feixue is on a business trip and her phone is not working. You should rescue her first. When she comes back and obtains the kidney source, you can cure my sister." Wang Anning sneered and said in a teaching tone, "Yi Chen, you're making trouble for no reason. You've been in the hospital for a long time, have you ever seen a hospital treat someone who doesn't have money? Also, she's already dead now. I'm a doctor, can I still diagnose incorrectly? Don't blame anyone, just blame you for being useless. You can't even earn 500,000 yuan and watch your sister die." Yi Chen was angered and raised his voice, saying, "Director Wang, I have been in the hospital for so long, and everyone knows me well. I will never default on my debts. I have never paid my salary before, and I don't want my future salary either. How about using it all to treat my sister's illness?" Wang Anning chuckled coldly and said, "Salary? You are a useless man who eats soft food. Can you earn a salary? If you can make money to support your family, who will become your son?" Yi Chen's anger boiled and his teeth clenched, but in the end he suppressed it and whispered, "Feixue is back. I will make sure she returns the money to the hospital as soon as possible." "Do you think Feixue will pay you back to the hospital?" Wang Anning joked back. "Yes. Feixue will definitely give it." Yi Chen seemed to see hope. "I forgot to tell you. Here is a text message from her asking us not to continue treatment, you can take a look." Wang Anning opened his phone and greeted Yi Chen with a beaming expression. Yi Chen's gaze fell on his phone and said, "Yi Xian has given up on treatment and will no longer spend on medical expenses." Yi Chen seemed to have been struck by lightning, his whole body cold and numb, and his eyes were about to crack. He doesn't believe it's true, but that phone number is indeed Qin Feishue's phone number. "Do you know I didn't lie to you this time? And she even called me specifically about it." Wang Anning proudly called Qin Feishue. Yi Chen clenched his fists tightly, his fingernails embedded in his flesh, but he was unaware of the pain. Can Qin Feishue answer Wang Anning's phone call if she doesn't answer her own phone call or reply to her messages? Thinking of giving up treatment information, his heart feels like cooking oil. 100 days of kindness for a couple in a day, even if there is no family relationship, under a roof for 3 years, even a dog should have feelings. "Director Wang, is there anything I need to do on the phone?" Qin Feishue's clear and pleasant voice came from Wang Anning's hands-free phone. Yi Chen felt like his heart was being cooked in boiling oil at 100 degrees Celsius, and the pain was tearing his heart and lungs apart. The world was spinning in front of him, just like Qin Feishue's voice. Qin Feishue didn't answer her own phone, but answered Wang Anning's telegram. Yi Chen's heart was dripping with blood, and his eyes were about to crack. "I just thought of you at work, so I called." "It's nothing." Wang Anning deliberately placed the display screen in Yi Chen's eye and showed him the name Qin Feishue displayed on it. In fact, Yi Chen had already confirmed through his voice. Yi Chen stared straight at the phone and was about to speak. Wang Anning smiled first and said, I have a patient here, so let's not talk for now. Doodle. Hanging up the phone and hearing a blind tone, Yi Chen had no chance to say what was on his lips. Yi Chen, Feixue sent me a message and answered my phone call. Have you seen it all this time? Wang Anning's face was full of energy and he sneered, it's not that they don't answer, but that they ignore you. Why do the Qin family support you and also support your sister? This sentence, like pouring cold water on the head, chilled Yi Chen's heart and left him standing there in a daze, unable to exhaust his anger. Wang Anning suddenly looked at Yi Chen seriously and said, actually, if your sister were to be rescued, there might still be hope, and you can also save your sister. Me? How can I save you? Yi Chen asked in shock. Selling kidneys to raise money. Wang Anning joked with a smirk. You. Yi Chen knew that the other party was teasing him, and he was extremely angry. Haha! Wang Anning waved his hand to stop Yi Chen, who was furious, and laughed wildly. It's useless to keep it, even Feixue won't sleep with you. Yi Chen's eyes darkened in waves, and his anger grew stronger and stronger. Lying on the hospital bed, Yi Xian suddenly woke up and weakly opened her eyes to see Yi Chen. Brother. Don't ask your sister in-law for money anymore, let me die. Just. As long as you and your sister in-law live well, that's all. Yi Chen was stunned, did his sister not die? Xian, don't say anything foolish. No, no. You can definitely be cured. She turned to look at Wang Anning, although she hated falsely claiming that her sister was dead, she still knelt down with a thud, please help my sister. Get out of here. What a dog. Wang Anning didn't expect Yi Xian to suddenly wake up. He was annoyed and pushed Yi Chen away with a disdainful expression, saying, to save someone, first pay back the medical expenses owed, and then prepare 200,000 yuan for the medical expenses. Brother, don't save me. It's just a waste of money. The weak Yi Xian tried to get up, but failed. Brother, I miss my parents so much. Now I can finally go see them. I miss the time we spent together when we were children, but unfortunately, I can't accompany you. There is an afterlife, and we are still siblings. With a thud, Yi Xian fell onto the bed, her outstretched hand hanging soft. Xian. You can't die. Yi Chen got up, hugged his sister, and shouted at the top of his lungs, but Yi Xian had no response. Didi, Yi Chen's phone rang, and he thought it was Qin Feishue's call. He quickly answered, but inside came an old man's voice. This voice. It's Master. 5 years have passed, Yi Chen, your seal has been lifted. Doodle. Blind sound coming from the phone. Chapter 2. 9 Turn Divine Needle. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yi Chen felt a warm current rising from his previously weak body, as if it was slowly melting away from the ice. His body also became stronger and stronger, while Yi Xian, who was already dead in front of him, was still alive and there was still hope in his eyes. Yi Chen quickly tapped Yi Xian a few times, picked her up, and ran out of the emergency room towards the traditional Chinese medicine department. Nurses from the traditional Chinese medicine department were stunned when they saw Yi Chen holding Yi Xian, who was soft and fluffy, as if dead, and they all avoided her like a plague. Nurse Li Li, whom Yi Chen knew, approached and kindly advised, "Are you crazy? Her situation is useless for the traditional Chinese medicine department, and we cannot rescue her. Hurry up and send her to the Western medicine department for treatment." Yi Chen, are you getting used to rubbing medicine in our traditional Chinese medicine department? Do you want to come here to treat your sister's illness? She can't be cured, she's already dead. Another nurse, Maruerue, looked disdainful and disgusted. You don't seek self-improvement. You're such a door dog who eats soft food. It's disgusting. Maruerue is usually responsible for cleaning up expired Chinese medicinal materials in the hospital. Because he is afraid of getting dirty and tired, he is unwilling to do it. Therefore, he invites Yi Chen, who has no status in the hospital and is at the mercy of others, to do it. Yi Chen is also willing. Although his meridians are sealed, his medical skills are still there. Among those traditional Chinese medicinal herbs, many of them have only expired, but their efficacy has not been lost. He can choose the medicinal herbs that are suitable for himself and his sister to treat their illness. Because of this, Yi Xian has maintained herself until now. Otherwise, relying solely on a mediocre doctor like Wang Anning would not have lived to this day. Yi Chen didn't care about these things now and looked anxiously at Li Li, saying, "Get me a set of silver needles." Silver needle. What are you doing? Nurse Li Li showed caution. Yi Chen doesn't know traditional Chinese medicine, he's just a hospital attendant. If he uses silver needles to treat people to death, wouldn't the consequences be very serious? Yi Chen, it shouldn't be your sister who died. Do you want to come to our place to get involved in the medical trouble and make some money? You're really poor and crazy, your heart can be punished. Ma Ruerue made a clever speculation and angrily snorted and scolded. Yi Chen, what do you want a silver needle for? Li Lao, who had white hair and beard, asked as he rushed over. Yi Chen knows Li Lao, a famous traditional Chinese medicine practitioner with excellent medical skills in the hospital, and a renowned doctor in Binhai City. The hospital director usually greets him personally. I urgently need a set of silver needles to save people now. Yi Chen said anxiously, ignoring Li Lao's identity. Ma Ruerue saw that Yi Chen did not respect Li Lao and was eager to show his disrespect. He angrily rebuked Yi Chen and said, Li Lao is asking you a question. Hurry up and give me a set of silver needles to save people. Time was tight, and Yi Chen hugged Yi Xian with crimson eyes as he rushed towards the ward. Ma Ruerue angrily shouted, Yi Chen, are you crazy? Be careful. I'll tell the dean and dismiss you. I have a silver needle here. Li Lao's voice interrupted Ma Ruerue, but he still earnestly advised, Yi Chen, your sister has kidney failure and is hopeless. It's better not to disturb the deceased and let her go to the ground for safety. Yi Xian is not dead. Yi Chen roared and snatched the silver needle from Li Lao's hand. You dare to shout at Mr. Li. It's a great honor for Mr. Li to lend you the silver needle. Don't tarnish the name of Dr. Li, Ma Ruerue deliberately rebuked and provoked. Li Lao waved his hand to stop. I have been practicing medicine for many years, and I won't make mistakes. I have lost hope, and I understand that you want to make the last effort. Old Li's words suddenly stopped, his eyes staring at Yi Chen, who started acupuncture and moxibustion to save people. 1. 2. 3. Yi Chen placed Yi Xian on the ground without even blinking his eyes, and in the blink of an eye, he stabbed 9 silver needles into her body. 9 needles form a circle on Yi Xian's body, and upon closer inspection, it forms a yin-yang tai chi diagram. Hush! Old Li was stunned and tongue-tied. He was also a master of acupuncture and moxibustion all his life. However, he did not have Yi Chen's skill, let alone his skill, so he can be called a master of traditional Chinese medicine. Yi Chen ignored their reactions. If it weren't for his past sealing of meridians and his medical skills, it could be said that he was the reincarnation of Hua Tuo. The silver needle, driven by Yi Chen, quickly penetrated into the acupoints of his body. He controlled the entry and exit of the silver needle with both hands, occasionally lightly bouncing it on the needle. All the silver needles seemed to resonate and shake, causing an invisible internal force to enter Yi Xian's body. Seemingly simple, it consumes a huge amount of internal energy. Old Li has practiced medicine for many years, and is famous for acupuncture and moxibustion. But he has never seen such acupuncture and moxibustion techniques. They can find acupoints accurately and accurately. More importantly, they can control so many silver needles at the same time. This strength and control of timing are like the unity of heaven and man. Yi Chen, the call person, had also seen him before, never paid attention to him, and never expected to hide it. However, he still didn't believe that he could cure Yi Xin in his heart. Yi Xin had already died, how could the dead be resurrected? Li Lao stared at the yin-yang tai chi diagram of Yi Chen's silver needle, and suddenly his eyes showed solemnity as Yi Chen plunged the last silver needle into Yi Xin's body. Ah! Yi Xin, who had already passed away, let out a soft moan and her body moved slightly. Li Lao's face turned red and he exclaimed in fear, "Yi Chen, what is the name of your acupuncture technique?" He had already thought of the name of the needle technique, but couldn't believe it and quickly verified it. 9 turns divine needle. Yi Chen kept moving his hands non-stop. It's really a 9-turn divine needle. Li Lao's eyes lit up. I've seen this kind of needle technique in medical books, and I heard it can bring people back to life, rotating life and death, but it's long lost. I didn't expect you to do it. It's a miracle. I can see it, and it's not a waste of my life. Yi Chen, just now I have something wrong. Please forgive me. I am blind. Old Li bowed to Yi Chen. It's okay. Remember to keep it confidential. Yi Chen glanced at nurses Ma Ruirui and Li Li. Yi Chen thought of family feud and now he doesn't want to reveal his identity. He needs to slowly investigate the enemy. Li Lao looked at nurses Ma Ruirui and Li Li, without any courtesy from Yi Chen, and said in a deep voice, "Did you hear me?" Ma Ruirui and Li Li were both dumbfounded. Yi Chen's rescue was shocking, and Li Lao's attitude towards Yi Chen was even more shocking. It should be noted that even the dean, Li Lao, was indifferent and detached. Now that he is so respectful to Yi Chen, he is naturally afraid and nods repeatedly to show his understanding. However, Ma Ruirui felt even more disgusted towards Yi Chen in his heart. "Director Wang, Yi Chen is here. Western medicine cannot afford the medical expenses, so we have to run to the traditional Chinese medicine department. We must be in a hurry." Zhang Lei shouted, leading the way and leading Wang Anning to rush over. Wang Anning didn't see Li Lao, so he exuded a strong aura and sneered coldly, "Can traditional Chinese medicine cure it? It's really nonsense, that's just a group of scammers." "Who is a scammer?" Li Lao asked with angry eyes. Wang Anning trembled with fear when he saw it was Mr. Li, and his disdainful expression immediately disappeared. He replaced it with flattery and said, "Mr. Li, are you here?" Taking the opportunity, his gaze turned to Yi Chen and Yi Xin, wondering if it was Li Lao who was saving someone. Li Lao thought of confidentiality and snorted coldly, "Do you know that our traditional Chinese medicine treats diseases and saves lives?" Li Lao's criticism is right. Wang Anning has no arrogance like Yi Chen, just like a dog. However, his heart hates Yi Chen even more. If it weren't for Yi Chen, how could he have been scolded? I secretly swore to sell Yi Chen's waist and glared at him angrily, "Your sister is dead, but the medical expenses have not been paid yet. Don't run away." "Bold!" Li Lao shouted angrily. Wang Anning was frightened and inexplicably angry at Li Lao. He asked in confusion, "Li Lao, Yi Xin owes medical expenses. She died, and Yi Chen refused to pay the medical expenses." "Who said she's dead? Didn't you see that she's still alive?" Li Lao's eyes were cold and he wanted to kill, even denying the miracle of the 9-turning divine needle. Wang Anning was about to speak when he suddenly saw Yi Xin's hand lift slightly. He almost thought it was a ghost. He had just seen death with his own eyes, how could he still be alive? "We still need to rescue now, you go out. The medical expenses owed will be deducted from my salary." Li Lao frowned coldly and waved his hand to drive away. Wang Anning is like a cucumber falling into a salt tank and wilting completely. Li Lao dare not offend him. But he was also so angry that he wanted to vomit blood and fiercely gouged out Yi Chen, cursing in his heart what kind of bad luck. Surprisingly, Li Lao could help save people. You should know that many wealthy men offer high prices to ask Mr. Li to save people, but he may not be willing to do so. He is willing to help the incompetent Yi Chen, which is like winning a big prize. Thinking about how Li Lao used his salary to help cover for medical expenses, it felt even more frustrating, as if he had been struck by lightning. But there is no way, I dare not disobey Mr. Li. Are you still not leaving? Do you doubt my medical skills, or do you suspect that my salary is not enough for her medical expenses? Li Lao asked impatiently. Wang Anning saw that Li Lao was already angry and dared not touch the mold. He repeatedly apologized and said, "Let's go now. Let's go now." Li Lao is at the People's Hospital of Binhai City, and even the director is polite and respectful when he sees him. That's the hospital's signature. If he dares to offend, Li Lao can make him go with just one word. Even his father, who is the vice dean, cannot be saved. Get lost. Li couldn't help but shout angrily as he saw it grinding and creaking. Yes, yes. Wang Anning was scolded and rolled away, not angry, but with a smile on his face, nodding and bowing, running out like a dog. Chapter 3. Men on the Phone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Chen, what should we do next? Li Lao asked cautiously as he saw Yi Chen remove the silver needle. My sister needs to find a quiet place to recuperate and also needs medication to regulate her body. Yi Chen knew that Yi Xian was very weak and could not recover in the short term. How about coming with me? Li looked forward to soliciting. Yi Chen nodded and followed Li Lao out of the hospital, then took a car to Jishitang. This is a famous pharmacy in Binhai City, owned by Lu Jisher, a prominent figure in the medical industry. Qin Feishue's Qin family has a lot of business dealings with Jishitang, and it can be said that Jishitang controls the lifeline of the Qin family. Recently, the Qin family has been seeking Jishitang to sign a cooperation agreement. For this, Qin Feishue sighed heavily. Li Lao brought him here, and Yi Chen was somewhat shocked in his heart, but it also further motivated him to become stronger as soon as possible. Li Lao didn't know Yi Chen's thoughts. He was very familiar with this place, and the staff greeted Li Lao respectfully and politely. Li Lao took Yi Chen to a quiet room in the back and looked respectfully at Yi Chen, asking, "Is it possible to recuperate here?" Yi Chen saw that there was no one in the backyard and someone guarding the entrance, which was an excellent place for recuperation. He was very satisfied and nodded happily, "Sure." Upon hearing his agreement, Li Laowen quickly said, "If there's anything I need to do, just arrange it. I need to write a prescription and add some medicine." Yi Chen began to search for money, but when he searched his pockets, he found less than 100 yuan, while his own prescription required at least a few thousand yuan for a pair of medicine, which embarrassed him. "I have my shares in this pharmacy, and you can take medicine as you please," said Mr. Li confidently, looking at it clearly. "Thank you very much, Mr. Li." Yi Chen was grateful. "Could you please record the prescription? 15 grams of ginseng, 30 grams of astragalus." Li finished recording and turned to leave. "Li Lao, please give me 20 portions of each medicinal herb." Li nodded and went out. Half an hour later, Mr. Li asked someone to return with 20 doses of medication. "Mr. Yi, here are the medicinal herbs." Yi Chen could tell at a glance that the quality of the medicinal materials was the best. "Thank you, Mr. Li. I want to cook on site." Li Lao asked someone to bring medicine equipment, and he helped with odd jobs nearby. A good prescription is just a prerequisite, but more importantly, the method of preparation, including the timing and temperature of the herbal medicine, can only be controlled to maximize its efficacy. Yi Chen saw that each medication was organized very orderly by Mr. Li, and secretly praised him for being careful and serious in his work. He didn't hide it privately. While preparing it, he also explained the preparation method, which shocked Mr. Li very much. How could Yi Chen tell himself this secret of medical skills that is not to be disclosed? If I had been shocked by Yi Chen's medical skills before, now I am shocked by Yi Chen's chest. Li Lao listened, watched, and remembered very attentively, as if Yi Chen was his teacher. 2 hours later, Yi Chen ceased fire. Open the medicine jar, the fragrance fills the nose. Li Lao smelled the fragrance of the medicine and felt refreshed. He quickly lowered his head and looked inside, where more than 10 yellow pills were lying quietly. Li was stunned and his mouth was wide open. Usually, when I boil medicine, it's all soup that can be boiled into pills. This skill. Looking at Yi Chen in admiration, he quickly asked, Mr. Yi, what kind of pill is this? Jiuzhuan Resurrection Pill. It can quickly restore and regulate the body, strengthen the body, and prolong life. At this moment, Li Lao's face was rosy and full of excitement, looking at the cooking method he had recorded, which was a treasure. Yi Chen had already opened Yi Xian's mouth and gave her a pill to take. Li Lao looked at Yi Xian and found that her face had quickly changed from pale to rosy, and her spirit had quickly rebounded. Amazing! It's a miraculous cure. Li Lao exclaimed in surprise. Yi Chen took out 3 9-turn soul resurrection pills and said, Here are these 3 for you. Give it to me. Li Lao's lips trembled, excited to cry. This is a medicine that can bring life back to life. Any one of them is priceless, giving oneself 3. The indescribable respect for Yi Chen. Thank you very much, Mr. Yi. Li Lao Gang had just put it in his pocket when Yi Chen continued, that prescription is also for you. You can produce and sell it. Ah! Li was shocked and stunned, as if he had won a prize. The value of a prescription is infinite. Surprisingly, give it to oneself. Seeing Yi Chen's expression calm and gentle, Li Lao has already amazed Yi Chen into a heavenly being. This kind of pill is hard to come by. This prescription can bring abundant financial resources. This mindset is incomparable. In his eyes, Yi Chen is a talented individual with a towering image in the sky. Even though he practiced medicine all his life, he never had Yi Chen's heart. The 9-turning divine needle can resurrect from death. 9-turn soul resurrection pill, priceless. Such a person is a prodigy from ancient times. Pop it. Li Lao knelt down in front of Yi Chen with an excited expression and said, Please accept me as your disciple. Dong dong dong. Before Yi Chen could agree, he had already kowtowed to him. Yi Chen was slightly stunned, but soon understood that he was moved by his medical skills and prescriptions. Thinking about the reputation of Mr. Li, I just gave him medication when I didn't have the money. I was quite appreciative of Mr. Li's product and said, Okay. I'll take it. Thank you, Master. Dong dong dong. Li Lao, who was overjoyed, kowtowed to Yi Chen 3 more times before getting up. At this moment, he is even happier than winning the lottery, and he has genuine respect and admiration for Yi Chen. Yi Chen is young and has excellent medical skills, and his future prospects are limitless. Li Lao feels that he has fallen for Yi Chen Guang. He can't even figure out why Yi Chen entered the Qin family. With his medical skills alone, he can dominate the world. Money beauties are easily obtainable. Yi Chen didn't care about Li Lao's thoughts. He focused on taking care of his sister and didn't leave until midnight when Yi Xian's condition stabilized. Yi Chen walked outside, feeling very hungry and uncomfortable, but the thought of being able to pull his sister back from the gates of hell was his greatest joy. The Yi family only has their siblings left. Once glorious, with deep blood and hatred, it all stems from them. Yi Chen revitalized the Yi family, and his heart of revenge ignited with the lifting of the seal. Wow! The sound of hunger echoed from his stomach, pulling him back to reality. He looked around and wanted to buy something to eat, then took a taxi home, only to find that he had collected money for medicinal herbs and placed all his money on the table. Now penniless, I can only endure hunger and walk home. On the way, I dug up Qin Feishue's phone number several times, but in the end, I still called her. Although marrying Qin Feixue for 3 years was a nominal marriage, such a heartless relationship still left him heartbroken and wanting to ask for clarification. The phone was quickly dialed, and Yi Chen's heart was pounding wildly. I wonder if he will answer. I don't know how she would explain giving up on her sister's treatment. The phone was connected, and Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Feixue. Who are you? I'm not Feixue. The man's voice came from the other end. Yi Chen's brain was completely blank. Early morning. Qin Feishue's phone was answered by a man who was right beside her. What is she doing? Where are they? What are you doing again? Thinking back to the time when the man also used this account to call his sister, this man's relationship with Qin Feishue must be extraordinary. Who are you? Yi Chen was furious uncontrollably. Where is Feixue? The man didn't answer, but shouted, Feixue, don't worry. Wait for me for a while, I'll adjust and go in immediately. With a buzzing sound in his head, Yi Chen's whole body was cold. Where should he go now? Is it inside the body? A picture came to mind. The man seemed to have just remembered calling Yi Chen and said proudly, just finished exercising and she's taking a shower. Let me go in and accompany her. Do you have anything else to do? Who are you, exactly? Yi Chen's forehead was bulging with veins, and he was furious. Who do you think I am when I exercise with Feixue in the middle of the night and take a mandarin duck bath? Ha! The man burst out laughing wildly, as if saying that Yi Chen was an idiot. You tell me your name. Yi Chen, holding the phone in his hand, wished he could crush it and roared loudly. What's the use of telling you? You're the dog of the Qin family. You're such a useless person. It's better to die than to live. Let Feixue be a widow, and I need to take care of her. The man sneered, but I appreciate you leaving such a beautiful woman for me. Hee. Doodle. The man hung up the phone and heard a blind tone coming from inside. Yi Chen was almost going crazy and called again, but no one answered. Continuously making calls, but ultimately being blacklisted. Yi Chen stood alone under the street lamp in the darkness, his heart icy cold, as if he had been stabbed countless times by a sharp dagger, continuously dripping blood. My younger sister refused to save her life and carried herself with other men behind her back. Qin Feishue, this wife who has been married for 3 years, has completely betrayed her. The heart is like a knife, and a person is like a walking corpse. Looking for Feixue. Did you also call Feixue? She's on a business trip out of town and will surprise you when she comes back. Fool. My mother.in-law Zhao Shuqin's words rang in my ears. Yi Chen's eyes were about to crack, his fists clenched tightly. So they all knew. Just be a fool yourself. In the past, if we continue to live, we will endure it. Now, there must be no shame, he wants to speak up. Qin family, you need to give me an explanation. Give me an explanation. Yi Chen clenched his fists tightly. Ah! I want to be strong. The roar of anger echoed through the late-night city, as if announcing the return of the king. However, his heart was cold. Chapter 4. Angry Mother.in.law. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Chen returned to the Qin family in the early morning. He doesn't have a house key because according to his mother.in-law Zhao Shuqin, he doesn't deserve it. After hesitating at the door for a long time, I held back my anger and bravely knocked on the door. Knocking twice, his father.in-law Qin Yunzong opened the door. Where did you die? You came back so late. Do you still know how to go home? My mother.in-law Zhao Shuqin was sitting at the dinner table eating late-night snacks, but the food didn't stop her scolding. Zhao Shuqin is the soprano and gunpowder bucket of this family, and the whole family has to endure her baptism anytime, anywhere. In Zhao Shuqin's eyes, Yi Chen destroyed Qin Feishue's lifelong happiness, so he treated Yi Chen like an enemy for several generations. Yi Xin is seriously ill, I will go and treat her. Yi Chen suppressed his anger and said. Does she have anything to do with us? But if you run out all day and don't come back to cook dinner, I won't even have any food to eat. Zhao Shuqin continued to scold fiercely. Yi Chen felt angry in his heart, really treating himself like a nanny. Does your daughter go out and have sex with other men, treating herself like a fool? Qin Yinzong didn't speak, just moved the door away and wanted Yi Chen to come in. Wow! Yi Chen's stomach let out a hungry growl. Qin Yinzong glanced at the night snack and said, Didn't you have dinner? Go have some night snack. Qin Yinzong. You can pretend to be a good person. Zhao Shuqin shouted fiercely. Qin Yinzong was so frightened that he quickly shut up and dared not speak. Mom! I have something to ask you, Yi Chen said angrily as he thought of Qin Feishue's text messages and phone calls, ask me something. Zhao Shuqin seemed to hear a joke and threw the bone in her hand into the plate. Did your head get wet? Don't you know that I feel nauseous when I see you? Yi Chen suppressed his anger and asked, What do you mean by saying today that I didn't call Feixue by her name? She will surprise me when she comes back from a business trip out of town. Haha, haha. Upon hearing this question, Zhao Shuqin burst out laughing like an idiot. Did Yi Chen really question? Are you still asking such silly questions? With his left hand on his hips and his right hand pointing at Yi Chen, a pig is just as stupid as you. Even a fool and an idiot understand what that means. Yi Chen had a glimmer of hope at first, but seeing Zhao Shuqin's fierce expression and thinking of the man's voice on the phone, he was even more certain that Qin Feishue was with another man, and that the Qin family knew it. He couldn't help but get angry and raised his voice, asking, Who is Qin Feishue on a business trip with? However, he angrily asked Zhao Shuqin, What are you farting about? Who is she on a business trip with? How do I know? Did your head get drunk today? Stupid. Get out. Don't let me see you. Zhao Shuqin rushed forward and forcefully pushed Yi Chen out. Yi Chen was already worried about Yi Xin being alone in the Jishitang. He came back to verify Qin Feishue's business trip, but was insulted like this, and his heart was completely cold. He turned around and was about to leave. Tomorrow Feixue will come back, remember to find a car to take us to the airport to pick her up, Zhao Shuqin ordered loudly to Yi Chen's back. Yi Chen's body trembled, and his hands instinctively clenched into fists, thinking of himself as something. Humph. Even if Feixue follows another man, you have to accept it with a smile on my face. Who made you a dog in our family? Zhao Shuqin ignored Yi Chen and continued to speak with a cold expression. Yi Chen's anger broke through his head several times. Hurry up and get out. Don't make me look upset. Zhao Shuqin looked disgusted and waved away, like driving away flies. Who? Yi Chen took a breath and decided to wait until he saw Qin Feishue and asked everything before making a decision. He never tolerate being cuckolded. Whoever dares to do it, he dares to let the other person die. And it's still hard to die. Yi Chen strode away with a meteor. At this moment, Yi Chen's heart was filled with pride. From now on, no one can humiliate him. Waste. Your head should be covered in green. Zhao Shuqin cursed at Yi Chen's back and then slammed the door tightly shut. Yi Chen was already disdainful and returned to the Jisher hall, guarding beside Yi Xin. Mr. Li probably said hello, but no one came to disturb them in the Jisher hall. Yi Chen also took advantage of this silence and took 3 9-turn soul returning pills to start practicing, quickly restoring his martial arts skills. After all, the meridians were sealed for 5 years, and the damage was not small. Fortunately, Master's technique was special, and his strength was still there. When he practiced again, he found that he improved even faster. Unconsciously, immersed in it. The next day. As soon as Yi Chen opened his eyes, his phone began to vibrate wildly. His mother.in-law Zhao Shuqin called and pressed to connect. Yi Chen, are you dead? Didn't you ask you to find a car to pick us up to the airport? Why haven't you come yet? Zhao Shuqin's angry scolding was not surprising Yi Chen. I'm taking care of Yi Xian. I don't care what you do, come back to me right away, otherwise I will make you never return to the Qin family again. Doodle. Blind sound coming from the phone. Yi Chen's face turned pale with anger. Why are they doing this? Do you still need a face? Finally, I thought of asking Qin Feixue to explain to me in person, suppress her anger, and walk outside. Master, are you going out? Li Lao, who had just walked to the door with enthusiasm, took the initiative to greet him. Yesterday, Li Lao gave the 9 transformations resurrection pill given by Yi Chen to Lu Jisher, the owner of Jisher Hall. Lu Jisher's old injuries were all healed, and he was very happy. As a mixed-up person, Lu Jisher specifically asked for one for his elder brother behind his back, and Li Laojiang gave the remaining one to Lu Jisher. Lu Jisher was very happy and gave 10% of the shares of Jishitang to Mr. Li. Li Lao felt guilty and prepared to give it to Yi Chen. Jishitang is spread throughout the coastal city, monopolizing most of the medicinal herb business in the market, with a value of several billion. This 10% stake is worth several hundred million. When we think about mass production of the 9 transformations resurrection pill in the future, its value will inevitably be infinite. Not only will Li Lao's existing shares appreciate, but even Yi Chen's 10% stake has unlimited potential. That's why Li Lao felt happy for Yi Chen in his heart. Good morning. Yi Chen responded and continued, can my sister recuperate here for a while? Of course, if you have anything to do, just give me instructions. This kind of approach to Yi Chen, rather than having more learning opportunities, of course, Mr. Li will not miss it. Yi Chen nodded and said, that's hard work. Don't worry. I'll take care of it myself. Excuse me. Yi Chen was about to leave when he suddenly stopped. Where is there a shared car or rental car store near here? Master wants to use the car. Li Lao frowned and asked. I'll go to the airport to pick up people. What car are you planning to use? A sedan will do. I have a car that I don't use regularly. If my master doesn't mind, how about using it directly? Li Lao finished with a tone of discussion. Before Yi Chen could agree, he called the driver and asked him to bring the car. Thank you very much. Yi Chen was also polite. 10 minutes later, the car arrived. Yi Chen walked out of the pharmacy and a white sedan parked at the entrance. However, the logo of this car made Yi Chen feel a bit strange. It was actually 3B, more like 38, and he had never seen such a logo before. However, the car's streamline is beautiful, and at first glance, it exudes nobility, grandeur, and luxury. This is the best and most high-end car that Yi Chen has ever seen. Master, I have never driven this car before. If you don't mind, just drive it for now. Yi Chen doesn't know this car, but he knows it must be very expensive. A regular car is not suitable for Mr. Li's identity. He is also polite. On the one hand, he doesn't have a car himself, and on the other hand, he needs a car to rise in the coastal area. Then I'll use it. Master, use it as you please. Yi Chen nodded and got in the car to leave. Chapter 5. Brother.in-law's mockery. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Chen drove back to the entrance of the community, but his mood became even heavier. When I walked out of here last night, I was as embarrassed as a dog. Today, if it weren't for questioning Qin Feixue face why he betrayed him, he would never have come back. He is not to be humiliated now. The grudges and grievances should be resolved. Hold back your anger and walk into the community. Even if Yi Chen closes his eyes, he knows every place in this dilapidated community. For the past 3 years, he has been buying groceries every day, relying solely on his 2 legs. He has traveled through this community, even remembering which nearby store, which dishes are cheap, and when they are discounted. In the past, he always had a sense of guilt. Because Zhao Shuqin often said that Qin Feixue had no status in the Qin family because she married her own useless person. She was forced by her uncle Qin Yunfeng to move out of her former mansion and give her to live in, while they lived in this slum. Although the Qin family is not a big family, their assets are also over 100 million, so they shouldn't live in such a dilapidated place. In fact, the old man of the Qin family thought that Qin Yunzong had no son, only 3 daughters, and was not qualified to compete for the position of head of the Qin family in the future, so he simply treated him as an abandoned son. As for Yi Chen's ability to marry Qin Feixue, he would be even more grateful to Qin Yunfeng for causing mischief behind his back, allowing Qin Laozi to pretend to be sick, and then using the excuse of ecstasy to force Qin Feixue, the most beautiful granddaughter of the Qin family, to marry him as a useless person. From then on, the Qin Yunzong family lost their family status and had no chance of turning over. To this day, the fact that Qin Feixue, the most beautiful woman in the coastal area, married an incompetent son.in-law is still a joke. However, there are still countless men who are still determined to get Qin Feixue. Zhao Shuqin often scolded Yi Chen with a sentence. "You are the broom star, delaying Feishue's lifelong happiness. She should marry into a wealthy family, live a glorious life, and be incredibly happy." Yi Chen used to feel guilty in his heart, so he devoted himself to dragging his sick body to work and taking care of his family. "In 3 years, my younger sister Yi Xian has never entered this house, and I have not received any salary. My younger sister was hospitalized due to illness, and he used the 100,000 yuan dowry money and borrowed it through online loans. This time, there is really no money, which is related to my younger sister's life. I wanted to come back and ask for money, but was insulted. I also received a text message from Qin Feixue asking to give up treatment. Throughout, Qin Feixue never let Yi Chen touch her, proud yet self-reliant. In Yi Chen's eyes, she is not a powerful woman, let alone a woman who will betray herself. But text messages and phone calls have repeatedly overturned his ideas and judgments. This is like the sudden disappearance of beautiful things in the heart, making people feel extremely lost and painful. He was deeply complex in his heart and was deeply stabbed. The community is dilapidated and narrow, and Yi Chen's car cannot enter. He can only park outside the community, get off the car, and walk towards the inside, wanting to pick up Qin Yunzong and Zhao Shuqin. Arriving at the entrance of the corridor, I happened to see my father.in-law Qin Yunzong and mother.in-law Zhao Shuqin going downstairs. Yi Chen, is it for your sister's sake that this family doesn't want it anymore? Remember that it's our Qin family dog identity. Our Qin family is raising you, eating our Qin family, and using our Qin family. Zhao Shuqin's anger erupted when she saw Yi Chen and thought that he wouldn't come back to wash clothes, cook, and clean up. Yi Chen suppressed his anger and decided to wait until he had a thorough understanding with Qin Feixue before settling accounts with the Qin family. Zhao Shuqin seemed accustomed to Yi Chen's scolding and refusing to respond. She looked around but didn't find the car and sternly asked, "Feixue will get off the plane soon. Where's the car you borrowed? Don't tell me, you're going to take a taxi again." Yi Chen restrained his humiliation and said, You useless person. Every time I ask you to pick up Feixue, it's either an electric car or a taxi. Where do you want Feishue's face to be? She's at least from the Qin family of the Qin group, and can't be considered the company's management team. Can't you let Feixue look decent again?" Zhao Shuqin confirmed that she didn't have a car, and when she thought about it, her anger erupted completely. Yi Chen took a deep breath and warned himself not to miss a moment. He restrained himself from speaking, but clenched his fists tightly, his nails embedded in his flesh. "I can't beat a fart with just one stick. I get angry like this every day, and sooner or later I'll be killed by you. Fortunately, I called your brother.in-law Guo Baotian and he came too, otherwise I would have lost face. Zhao Shuqin's face was full of annoyance and disappointment, and she continued to educate, I'll see your brother.in-law later. Be polite and thank him a lot. Yi Chen has become accustomed to listening and responds directly with silence, but refutation can only intensify. 3 people walked to the entrance of the community and saw an Audi A6 parked at the entrance. Zhao Shuqin immediately waved to the car and wanted to move over, but the car didn't move. However, she wasn't angry and even smiled at Qin Yunzong, saying, What's Guo Baotian busy with? Didn't you see that I've already arrived? He's looking at that car. Qin Yunzong raised his hand and pointed to Yi Chen's car. Zhao Shuqin only noticed at this moment that Guo Baotian was surrounding Yi Chen's car, his eyes lit up, and his face turned back and forth with envy. Yi Chen actually saw Guo Baotian spinning around his car as soon as he came out. Guo Baotian's expression of envy and jealousy, which he wanted to kneel and lick, made Yi Chen show disdain. Zhao Shuqin saw Yi Chen's expression and secretly accused Guo Baotian of losing his identity. She was a driver of the Audi A6, so what's good about that car? Guo Baotian, a broken car. What are you looking at? Let the trash pick it up and laugh. Upon hearing the shout, Guo Baotian quickly ran over and said with envy on his face, Mom. This Bentley is even better than our old man's Bentley, it's an absolute limited edition. Zhao Shuqin's face turned red. She had just said it was a broken car, but it turned out to be a luxury car, even better than the Qin family's old man's car. This almost made her vomit blood. The Qin family's old man's car was a source of pride for the Qin family. It cost nearly 10 million yuan at that time. All the Qin family are proud to be able to ride in that car, but unfortunately, they never had the chance, which makes them one head shorter than the rest of the Qin family in this matter. It seems that our community is so secretive that there are such hidden billionaires, Zhao Shuqin said with a joyful expression on her face. If she knew anyone, she would divorce Qin Feixue and Yi Chen and marry each other. Yi Chen sneered in his heart when he saw his expression. Even he felt that when this mother-in-law was young, if someone were willing to pay enough money, they would definitely be able to break her legs open. I don't know if it's from this community, but anyone who can afford to drive this kind of car must be wealthy, Guo Baotian said with envy as he touched his inch. Baotian, at your age, being able to drive an Audi A6 is already excellent. It was earned by starting your own business, unlike Yi Chen, a useless person who requires me to pay for groceries every day and earn some private money. He will never be able to afford to drive this kind of car in his lifetime. Zhao Shuqin smiled and praised, not forgetting to belittle Yi Chen. Guo Baotian used to envy Bentley cars, but now hearing his mother-in-law's words, he also feels excellent in his heart. He straightens his waist and looks proud, Mom, I still need to work hard. Yi Chen, take a look. Your brother-in-law is so humble and ambitious. Let's take a look at you again. Zhao Shuqin's face was full of disappointment, and when she turned her head to look at Guo Baotian again, her face was full of smiles. I'm going to trouble you again today. It's all because of your brother-in-law's lack of confidence. Guo Baotian smiled and said, You don't need to be polite with your family. Perhaps my brother-in-law will soar to fame one day, driving a luxury Bentley. Let me also take a seat. What a sight. Haha, speaking of the end, Guo Baotian couldn't help but burst into laughter. Obviously, I just don't believe it. Clearly praise and discredit, intentionally ridicule. Yi Chen lowered his head and ignored him. He had a bad impression of Guo Baotian. He had no education and was just someone who came out to hang out. However, he later became a small businessman with a big brother and now they have become together. What infuriated Yi Chen the most was that every time Guo Baotian came home and saw Qin Feixue, he never concealed his inner lust. In front of oneself, always aloof and extremely humiliated, wishing to step on oneself and crush into the soil. Zhao Shuqin thought that Yi Chen was feeling guilty and incompetent when she saw Yi Chen not speaking. She sneered inwardly and pursed her lips. If he could drive a Bentley car once, I would just go and lick it with my mouth. Mom, look at what you're saying, we can't be so skeptical of Yi Chen either. Guo Baotian looked at Yi Chen with a commanding tone. What car are you driving to pick up Feixue today? Let Mom see, don't make Mom angry. Yi Chen sneered in his heart, but Guo Baotian didn't miss any opportunity to mock himself. Mom! I have a car. I don't need my brother-in-law's car, he said. Do you have a car? A taxi. Haha. Guo Baotian was dissatisfied with Yi Chen's attitude, mocking and questioning, accompanied by laughter. Zhao Shuqin sneered at disappointment and was determined that it was a taxi. She walked towards Guo Baotian's Audi A6 and didn't want to embarrass herself by taking a taxi with Yi Chen. Yi Chen didn't stop and walked to the side of the Bentley car. He raised his hand and opened the car door. Brother-in-law, you just touched my car, it seems dirty. Looking at Zhao Shuqin, implying that this is my car, are you really licking it? Zhao Shuqin. Surprisingly, it's Yi Chen's car. Chapter 6. Qin Feishue's hesitation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhao Shuqin used to open an Audi car to get on, but now she stands awkwardly there. Just now, because I looked down on Yi Chen and deliberately humiliated him, I said that if Yi Chen could drive a Bentley car once, he would be licked. That's insulting Yi Chen, I don't believe there can be a Bentley car. It's even more infuriating, of course it's impossible to lick the car. Just now, Yi Chen is the owner of this Bentley car. Faced with questioning and asked to lick the car. Zhao Shuqin was pushed to death by her own words. Qin Yinzong and Guo Baotian also stared blankly. How could Yi Chen borrow over 10 million Bentley cars? How could it be? No one believes it. But the fact is embarrassing. Yi Chen knew that Zhao Shuqin wouldn't lick her car and said, let's set off now. Just sit in and start the car. Wait. Zhao Shuqin withdrew from Guo Baotian's car and walked towards Yi Chen's Bentley. Mom, are you really going to lick the car for me? Yi Chen pretended to be nervous, but his eyes were filled with a smile. Zhao Shuqin felt like a bitter gourd had been stuffed into her throat, almost cursing and trying to remain calm. I don't trust you driving such an expensive car. I want to sit inside and help you control it, she said, but in my heart, I thought to myself. I have never ridden this kind of car in my life. Now that I have the opportunity, how can I miss it? Besides, sitting once, in front of the Qin family in the future, I can also boast and make people envious, just raise my head. Also, taking a Bentley car to pick up Qin Feisue has different identities and positions, which cannot be compared to Guo Baotian's Audi A6. She also specifically went around to the front and observed the logo. The Bentley logo had a letter, B, in the middle, and a B on each wing placed together, which happened to be 3B, more like 3-8. Zhao Shuqin couldn't help but furrow her brows slightly, feeling unhappy in her heart, as if she was cursing herself as the 3 cannons or the 3-8. How to understand, it's all about cursing oneself. For the sake of face, she still got into the car. Even if I scold her 3 times or 3 times, I can tolerate it now. As long as I can ride in such a luxury car, it's worth it. I even plan to take a few photos after getting off the car and post them on my social media to show off. Sitting inside, the incredibly comfortable leather seats and high-end armrests make her look so beautiful that she wants to fly. Seeing her intoxicated appearance, Yi Chen sneered and admired vanity in his heart. But it's not exciting either, start the car and start moving. The smooth and comfortable driving of the car made Zhao Shuqin even happier. Guo Baotian didn't seem to wake up from his dream until Yi Chen's car drove away, but soon his face was filled with a sneer of relief. How do you pay the rent? He judged that this Bentley car was rented and had a beautiful appearance, but how could the expensive rent be paid? At this moment, he was waiting to see Yi Chen make a fool of himself. Inside the car. Yi Chen, where did you borrow the car from? Qin Yinzong said, breaking the silence. Zhao Shuqin also quickly looked at Yi Chen, waiting for an answer. After all, Yi Chen has no money at all. In the past, he had to reimburse the airport pick-up and taxi fare when he returned, let alone the expensive rent for such a luxury car. My friend borrowed it. Yi Chen replied lightly. Friend. There aren't many people who can afford to drive such luxury cars in Binhai. What's his name? Qin Yinzong looked hopeful and was very interested in this friend Yi Chen had spoken of. Not famous, even if you say it, you don't know each other. Yi Chen looked ahead and didn't want them to ask too much, so he decided to just chat to death. Qin Yinzong was somewhat disappointed, probably not a well-known friend, otherwise Yi Chen would not have missed such an opportunity to show off. After a moment of thought, he quickly preached, Yi Chen, although you are poor, we can tolerate it, but you cannot do anything illegal. You must abide by the law and be an upright person. Yi Chen did not respond, and his words could only be exchanged for more preaching. Qin Yinzong thought it was a tacit agreement, shook his head and sighed, and was even more disappointed. Zhao Shuqin next to her once again regained contempt in her eyes, useless. Didi, Zhao Shuqin's phone rang, took out her phone, smiled and said, Feixue called, probably already off the plane. Looking at Yi Chen, she changed to blame, it's all because of you, a waste of time. Press the answer button and say happily, Feixue. Wait a moment, we'll be there soon. Mom. Just pick me up at Villa 13 in Tangxianjuan. Qin Feishue's tired voice came from the other end of the phone. Sandalwood Garden Villa. Isn't that the most upscale villa on the coast? Zhao Shuqin exclaimed in surprise. Yi Chen tightly grasped the steering wheel with both hands, as if his heart had been stabbed hard by someone. Qin Feishue was not on a business trip, just by the seaside, but did not answer his phone. Why does she live in such a high-end villa? Is that man? Yi Chen's mind went blank for a moment, anger rising from the bottom of his heart time and time again, his whole body icy cold, and finally his eyes icy cold. Whoever touches the bottom line will die. It's great that we can all live in that kind of villa in Feixue. Wait for me, I'll be there soon. Zhao Shuqin was not ashamed, but rather happy, as if she wished her daughter had slept with someone else. Yi Chen, drive to the Tangxianjuan villa to pick up Feixue. Zhao Shuqin hugged her arms and was already excited about the shock Qin Feishue was about to bring. Yi Chen gritted his teeth tightly, his forehead veins bulging, suppressing his wife's rebellious anger, and turned around to rush towards the sandalwood garden. He has already decided that he must have an explanation. Sandalwood Garden Villa, a top-level villa area on the coast, is where the most expensive villa on the coast is located. Living here is neither rich nor noble, representing the power and wealth of the coast. Ordinary people and vehicles cannot enter on weekdays, but today Yi Chen drove in smoothly. Yi Chen, because his heart was filled with anger, didn't pay attention to why. Yi Chen, have you seen this? This is wealth. If it weren't for us Feixue marrying you, who is so despicable, and relying on her beauty, anyone could find a husband who can buy us a villa here. Zhao Shuqin sat in the car, gazing at the luxurious and grand villa and scenery outside, her eyes shining with longing. Hey! If Feixue marries you, it means our family has been unlucky for 8 lifetimes. You have caused harm to our whole family. Yi Chen, why don't you die for your sister or die together? Then Feixue can remarry and find a rich man. Yi Chen's heart boiled like oil, turning a deaf ear to Zhao Shuqin's words, only wanting to know who Qin Feishue was with. He was filled with murderous anger in his heart. Zhao Shuqin thought that Yi Chen was speechless and intensified. Arriving at the entrance of Villa 13, from a distance, I saw Qin Feishue standing at the door, anxiously looking at her watch and appearing impatient. Qin Feixue is over 170 meters tall, with a tall and outstanding figure. She is dressed in a standard OL uniform, tightly enveloping her slender figure. A tight shirt cannot conceal a proud figure, and the slender and fair legs make men have a strong desire for crime. Exquisite oval face, big eyes, long eyelashes, raised nose, red lips, paired with flowing black hair, beautiful and charming, causing harm to the country and the people. People passing by her all looked sideways, and some were stunned and forgot to walk. As the most beautiful woman on the coast, Qin Feishue's beauty and aura are absolutely powerful. At this moment, standing beside her was a young man in a suit and leather shoes, with neatly combed hair and wearing a pair of sunglasses. The man's name is Wu Shirong, a young master of the Binhai Wu family. He is famous for his flowers and is a staunch pursuer of Qin Feishue. Under Wu Shirong's sunglasses, a pair of triangular eyes shot out a fierce light upon seeing Yi Chen, which was extremely cruel. Yi Chen's attention was focused on why Qin Feishue was with him. Thinking that Wu Shirong had never given up pursuing Qin Feishue and even threatened to get Qin Feishue, was it him who answered the phone? Yi Chen clenched his fists tightly, and the voice of the man answering his phone echoed in his ear, his anger about to erupt. Zhao Shuqin did not expect that it was Wu Shirong. After a slight shock, she saw the Armani suit on Wu Shirong, the Rolex watch on her wrist, and then looked at Yi Chen. It was Ground Beetle. Thinking of Qin Feishue and Wu Shirong together at the entrance of the villa, isn't that right? Not only was there no displeasure, but on the contrary, Zhao Shuqin was also very happy. She wished it were the truth, with a flattering expression on her face, admiring and saying, "Wu Xiao, thank you for taking care of Feishue." The tone was respectful, expressing her liking and appreciation for Wu Shirong, as if this was the ideal son-in-law in her eyes. Young and handsome, wealthy and influential, he is a prince riding a white horse. Yu Guang looked at Yi Chen, incomparable to Wu Shirong, just a toad. The glory that was originally brought by Bentley cars is now despised, let alone borrowed ones. If the Wu family wants to buy, it's all a simple matter. Two people cannot be compared, the difference is huge. Especially the villa in front of him, at least tens of millions, Yi Chen couldn't afford it in his lifetime. Wu Xiao, the perfect man. Yi Chen, that's bullshit. Wu Shirong enjoyed the flattery of Zhao Shuqin very much. His eyebrows smiled and he deliberately looked down on Yi Chen. He straightened his waist and said, "Auntie. Take care of Feishue, my dream in this life." Upon hearing this, Zhao Shuqin was ecstatic and liked Wu Shirong even more. She immediately grabbed Wu Shirong and walked aside, chatting happily, asking for warmth and comfort, as if her mother-in-law cared about her son-in-law. However, she was very clever and pretended to be reserved, not asking about the Tan Xiang Yuan villa. Afraid of being discovered by Wu Shirong due to his anxiety and losing the opportunity to match Qin Feishue to marry Wu Shirong. At this moment, Yi Chen is like ice, his heart is like cooking oil. Sore and congested heart. Wu Shirong's voice was the voice of a man answering his call on Qin Feishue's phone. Thinking of the exercise and Mandarin duck bath mentioned on the phone, Yi Chen was suffocating, feeling like the green lawn was in front of him. He clenched his fists and made a bone joint sound. Qin Feishue walked over with a cold face and said, "Go back. I'm very tired." For Yi Chen, he didn't even look at it, as if it was air. "I'm very tired." 3 words once again made Yi Chen's heart sink to the bottom. What would make him tired? The scene of men and women together always comes to mind unconsciously. Originally, Qin Feishue's beauty was now in his eyes extremely dirty. Zhao Shuqin and Wu Shirong were very happy to communicate and didn't want to leave immediately. She looked at Qin Feishue and said angrily, "Don't worry. It's rare to get along with Wu Xiao. You should communicate more at the villa." Qin Feishue remained silent, furrowed her brows slightly, threw the thing to the foolish Yi Chen, looked at it with disgust on her face, and turned around to leave. Yi Chen felt like a servant, more like a lowly dog. However, thinking of Qin Feixue and Wu Shirong being together, the luggage in his hand made him feel dirty and he wished to throw it into the trash can, but in the end, he forced himself to hold back. What exactly happened? He needs to investigate and vent his anger together. If Wu Shirong really had a relationship with Qin Feixue, then Wu Shirong must die. The Wu family must perish. Yi Chen decided to retaliate fiercely. Feixue, I'll drive a Lamborghini sports car to take you back. Wu Shirong looked at Qin Feixue and said very gentlemanly. Lamborghini sports car. Zhao Shuqin exclaimed, her eyes shining with envy. It's very expensive, isn't it? Millions of dollars. The project is completed and bought with money. Wu Shirong pretended to be humble. Wow. Wu Xiao is really young and promising, a leader among young people. Zhao Shuqin couldn't hide her envy. Thinking of Yi Chen borrowing a Bentley car, a world apart, he gave Yi Chen a disgusted look and said, Feixue, you can take the Wu Xiaoche back. Qin Feixue remained silent. Just then, a roar of the sports car engine came, and the black Lamborghini sports car stopped beside Wu Shirong. The driver got off the car and respectfully handed the car key to Wu Shirong. Wu Xiao, your car. Feixue, get in the car. We haven't finished discussing business yet, we can continue in the car. Wu Shirong took the car key from the driver's hand and invited him with a very elegant and gentlemanly tone. Feixue, hurry up and get in the car, Zhao Shuqin urged anxiously, as she approached and pulled Qin Feixue, seemingly eager to push her into Wu Shirong's arms. Qin Feixue stood still without saying a word, as if thinking about making a decision. Yi Chen was carrying Qin Feishue's luggage, feeling very painful in his heart, like a knife cutting. As his husband, he came to pick her up and even thought about whether to get into Wu Shirong's car. Does this need to be considered? Besides, after we finish talking at the villa, we still need to get in the car and talk nonsense. It's just dogs and men going crazy. Wu Shirong saw Qin Feishue hesitating and thought he was tempted. He sneered at Yi Chen, who was in the way, and said, our company has business to discuss with the Qin group. Yi Chen looked down upon Wu Shirong with arrogance and disdain. He really wanted to rush over and punch him, but in the end, he suppressed him and wanted to retaliate together. Without speaking, he walked towards the Bentley car with his luggage, opened the trunk, stuffed it in, and got on the car ready to leave. Qin Feishue saw that Yi Chen was driving a Bentley, frowning slightly and showing surprise. After a moment, she shook her head and sighed, looking at Wu Shirong. I'm sorry, I need to go home first. We'll talk about business matters next time. Originally, Yi Chen had already decided while sitting in the car that if Qin Feishue got on the car, their relationship would be completely over. But Qin Feishue's final refusal gave him a glimmer of hope. Can this marriage still be saved? However, seeing Qin Feishue's expression of annoyance and disappointment towards him, her heart became cold again. I am ultimately looked down upon. Wu Shirong didn't expect to not get on the car, and his heart resented Yi Chen, with a chill surging in his eyes. Wu Xiao, why don't I teach that loser a lesson, suggested the driver's chin knot. Stop. Wu Shirong's face suddenly turned pale, as if seeing the most terrifying thing, full of tension. Wu Xiao, what's wrong? Your Lamborghini is no worse than his car, why not take your car? Wu Shirong's forehead was covered in beads of sweat, and his face turned even whiter, even trembling slightly. Shut up. Damn it. What do you know? My subordinates were stunned and suggested helping, why scolded me? Did you see the letters on the wings of the Bentley logo? The bodyguard was surprised, what letter? 2 B's. Isn't that just a 3B, a triple shot? The bodyguard said seriously like a fool. Wu Shirong's face turned pale, with a loud bang. Raising his hand to the bodyguard with two mouths, he said, "You are the three cannons." That's a special symbol that represents his identity in Binhai City. I didn't say anything later, but Wu Shirong's heart was full of ups and downs. Chapter 7. Arguments. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feixue, Wu Xiao comes from a good family and is enthusiastic about you. Don't be so cold to him. In this world, it's not easy to meet a man who truly cares about you. You can't spend your whole life with this useless person, can you? Do you really want to spend your whole life like this? Sitting in Yi Chen's Bentley, Zhao Shuqin kept nagging and brainwashing the co-pilot Qin Feixue, implying that Qin Feixue should be with Wu Shirong. As for Yi Chen driving, it seems like there is no such thing as air. Yi Chen looked down upon himself so blatantly, his heart burning with anger. He tightly grasped the steering wheel with both hands and forcefully suppressed his anger. Now, as long as Qin Feixue agrees with Zhao Shuqin, he will immediately divorce. Of course, he would prefer Qin Feixue to refuse because he still has expectations for marriage. However, Qin Feixue remained silent and didn't say anything, as if pondering Zhao Shuqin's words. Yi Chen's heart turned cold, thinking that it was Wu Shirong who answered the phone. The two of them were probably really getting together. Possible images came to mind, and then thought of Wu Shirong's lewd words, "Come in now." Yi Chen felt that Qin Feixue beside him was very dirty, with a dull expression and blood dripping from his heart. It seems that the two of them should be over. Qin Feixue remained silent. Returning to the community, Qin Feixue and others got off the car and went upstairs, but no one paid attention to Yi Chen. As for the luggage on the car, it should naturally be Yi Chen's responsibility. Yi Chen was lost in thought. After parking to calm down, he looked like a bitter porter, carrying his luggage and finally going upstairs. Arriving at the doorstep, I was about to knock when I heard Zhao Shuqin's voice coming from inside. Yi Chen is now ignoring his dying sister. This useless person will never make a living. What's the point of living with him? Feixue, please consider this matter. After all, your marriage to Yi Chen is in name only, and now with your appearance, as long as you divorce, there will be many wealthy children competing to marry you. This time, even Qin Yinzong, who is relatively good to Yi Chen, spoke up to advise. Yi Chen felt like falling into a vast abyss, leaning against the wall. After a moment, he showed a relieved sneer, indicating that it was time to end. Raising her fist, just as she was about to smash the door, she heard Qin Feixue speak, "Her sister's illness is probably difficult to cure." Upon hearing these words, Yi Chen's whole body was filled with murderous intent. It turned out that Qin Feixue had defined her sister's condition in this way, and that giving up treatment was definitely her decision, completely despairing Qin Feixue. My heart seemed to be crushed with countless pieces of ice, in excruciating pain. My teeth were tightly clenched, and my eyes were about to crack. This humiliation was more painful than killing him. It took him 5 minutes to figure it out, return to normal, suppress his anger, and decide to see how shameless this family could be. Dang 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 dang. Lift your hand and lightly tap the door 3 times. Bang. Zhao Shuqin forcefully pushed the door open, and the anti-theft door, carrying a hurricane, collided head-on with Yi Chen. Fortunately, Yi Chen reacted quickly and took a step sideways to avoid being hit with a bruised nose and swollen face. However, Zhao Shuqin is not ashamed, on the contrary, it is all regret. Zhao Shuqin glared angrily at Yi Chen with cold eyes and scolded angrily, "Parking and taking luggage upstairs are all turtle speed. Why don't you become a bastard?" She seemed to feel that it wasn't enough to clear her mind. "Yi Chen, do you see the difference between you and Wu Xiao? Do you want Feixue to endure like this for a lifetime? What's the difference between me and him?" Yi Chen was furious and rushed to the top of his head, shamelessly reaching this point. Thinking that he is already strong now, Wu Shirong is nothing. From now on, He wants to make all those who look down on him by Bin Hai submit to his feet, and make Bin Hai the beginning of the resurgence of the Yi family. Zhao Shuqin was annoyed by Yi Chen's defiant rebuttal and pointed at him, "You idiot. Don't know what the difference is." If Feixue had just taken Wu Xiao's car back, she might have already reached a cooperation agreement now, allowing Feixue to earn money that you won't earn in your lifetime. As for Wu Xiao's villa and Lamborghini, that's a bigger difference. Do you only have money in your eyes? Yi Chen retorted angrily to Zhao Shuqin. Ha! I'm for money. Zhao Shuqin didn't feel ashamed, but instead wrapped her arms around her. If it weren't for the 100,000 yuan dowry money, would you be able to come to our Qin family as our son.in? Law or a dog? Continuing with a cold snort, if Feixue were to talk to Wu Xiao about business, she might be able to earn us money to exchange for a new house. There's nothing left now. Wu Xiao can live in the Sandalwood Garden Villa. If it weren't for borrowing money from Wu Xiao today, you wouldn't even have had the opportunity to enter the Sandalwood Garden in your lifetime. The sound of questioning and mockery, as if Yi Chen was the root of the mistake. Yi Chen twisted his eyebrows into a Sichuan character. Could he also blame himself for the illusory things of Feixue? I secretly swore, Tangxianjuan Villa, one day I will move in. How did you get slapped in the face? As for Wu Shirong's negotiations, it is obvious that his mind is not pure. He was with Qin Feixue in the middle of the night, in a villa, and Zhao Shuqin worked so hard to reconcile. What do you think of yourself? Turtle. Bastard. Yi Chen suppressed his anger and said, "Mom. Shut up. You don't deserve to call me mom." Zhao Shuqin interrupted rudely. Yi Chen was so angry that his face turned red and his neck was thick. Wu Shirong has ulterior motives. He's not even talking about business, he said. What's wrong with our bad intentions? That means our family's Feixue has charm. Yi Chen. Yi Chen, I solemnly tell you that as long as Wu Xiao says she likes Feixue, I will immediately divorce her from you. Zhao Shuqin's expression was disdainful, full of anticipation, as if she was no longer ashamed. Upon hearing the divorce, Yi Chen clenched his fists and gritted his teeth, and it took him a long time to let go. Stop making noise. Qin Feixue shouted angrily, looking at Yi Chen with disappointment. I'm very tired. I'm very tired. Another 3 heart-piercing words. Yi Chen couldn't help but think of being tired in bed again. Qin Feixue ignored his thoughts and pushed the door directly into the room. Pop. Zhao Shuqin raised her hand and slapped Yi Chen on the back of the head. Feixue is tired, why don't you go wash clothes and cook? Do you want to live and eat in our house for free? If Yi Chen hadn't wanted to see Qin Feishue's face clearly in the end, he would never have endured the humiliation of Zhao Shuqin. With a cold face, he entered the kitchen and saw the bowls and chopsticks piled up in the pool. He wanted to throw them angrily, really treating him like a nanny. After calming down for half a minute, start taking action, brush and clean the house thoroughly. For the past 3 years, he has been doing all these household chores. He has always been able to endure it because he trusts Qin Feishue enough, and even more so because he believes that one day he will be able to impress Qin Feishue. After all, one's own meridians cannot be constantly sealed. As a descendant of the Yi family, he has a flame of revenge in his heart and dreams of building a strong Yi family. Qin Feishue is a suitable companion in his eyes. As for the Qin family in front of him, they are insignificant in his eyes. It's just 3 years of hard work on her own, and now it seems like it's all in vain. Qin Feishue has actually been with another man. His heart is very cold. But we are still waiting for the final answer to be revealed. I have even begun to imagine the moment when the truth is revealed and I leave in a state of embarrassment, crazily killing the other party. If Qin Feishue had not betrayed, from now on, he could have obtained everything Qin Feishue wanted in this world. He even wished to conquer this world for Qin Feixue, even if he wanted the stars in the sky. If she doesn't leave, he won't give up. Just don't know if there's still one day left. Yi Chen finished tidying up and entered the room. In a house of more than 10 square meters, there is a large bed placed on one side of the wall, with a floor spread, which is where Yi Chen sleeps. Qin Feixue was sitting in bed at the moment, her hair staring blankly, as if she was not in a state of mind, and even more so, she seemed a bit nervous. Seeing Yi Chen come in, he panicked and quickly turned his expression cold to conceal his panic. However, that panic, in Yi Chen's eyes, was just a feeling of guilt. He couldn't help but sneer inwardly. The strong Qin Feixue was in such a panic, which was obviously abnormal. It was because of betrayal and giving up on his sister's treatment that he felt guilty. Yi Chen still wanted to accompany her in acting to the end and see her true face. "Feixue, what's up with you?" "It's okay." Qin Feixue seemed to be trying her best to control her nervousness. "You can tell me anything, I can help you." Yi Chen continued. "Can you help me?" Qin Feixue sneered back, but soon her eyes and tone were disappointed. "If you could help me, how could it be like this now? I can't even support myself, how can you help me?" Yi Chen looked at Qin Feixue with red circles under her eyes and fell silent. It was indeed the case in the past. But now, it's different. However, for the sake of family feud and to find out if Qin Feixue had betrayed him, he could not expose it. "Yi Chen, as long as you can make me less angry, it's good. I don't ask you to help me." Qin Feixue saw Yi Chen silent again, feeling very disappointed. His body seemed to have been emptied, and this man ultimately made it impossible for him to rely on him. "Everyone else works better and improves, but you work worse and worse. I really can't describe it. Director Wang called me again. Every time I answer his phone now, I feel a headache for you. Can you make me worry-free?" Qin Feixue said a few more words for the first time, but her tone was full of disappointment and resentment. Yi Chen snorted coldly in his heart. Wang Anning has always been using his own business, on the one hand, to smear himself through tabloids, and on the other hand, to invite credit from Qin Feixue. It seems that this time it is the same. But thinking of them teaming up to give up their sister's treatment, their confidence rose again. "What I did doesn't need to be explained. Yi Chen, what's your attitude?" Qin Feixue was slightly stunned, but also angered by Yi Chen's words. "Yesterday, you didn't cause enough trouble for your sister." When Yi Chen heard the mention of his sister, he felt that he had not given up on treatment and blamed himself. "What happened to my sister yesterday? I still wanted to." "Stop talking." Qin Feixue waved her hand to stop her, her face pale, looking very disappointed and tired. "Let me be quiet." Yi Chen seemed guilty and even angrier. "Why didn't you answer my phone?" "And that's my freedom, what obligation do I have to always answer your phone?" Qin Feixue was also angered and became proud and cold. "What do you think of me?" Yi Chen vented his anger. "What do you want me to think of you? What do you think of me again?" Qin Feixue asked with arrows in her eyes. Yi Chen was enraged. He wanted to say he was his wife, but she betrayed him and had to give up her sister's treatment and let her die. He wished he could stab such a snake and scorpion woman to death. Qin Feixue saw that Yi Chen didn't answer, feeling helpless and guilty. With a disappointed expression on his face, he raised his hand and pointed to the door. "Get out." Chapter 8. 9 Transformations Resurrection Pill Causing Trouble. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Chen didn't want to stay at this house anymore, so he came out and drove back to Jishitang. At this moment, in his heart, Yi Xian is the family member, the person to protect and take care of. When Yi Chen returned again, the people of Jishitang saw him becoming more respectful, which made Yi Chen somewhat curious. Entering Yi Xian's ward, Mr. Li was personally taking care of her, which moved Yi Chen deeply. Master has returned. Li Lao stood up and respectfully said. Hard work. Yi Chen was grateful. Master, you're welcome. Do you have time to take a look at this? Li Lao handed a contract to Yi Chen and said with a smile. Yi Chen was slightly stunned, unsure of why. Master, take a look, Li Lao said with a stronger smile. Yi Chen took it and flipped through it, only to find that it was the Jishitang stock contract. He looked at Mr. Li and said, this. Yesterday, I gave 2 of your 9 transformations resurrection pills to Chairman Lu Jishe. He was very happy and gave me 10% of the shares in Jishitang. I am ashamed of it, how can I keep it? So I gave it to you and also gave you 10% of my shares. Now you are the second largest shareholder of Jishitang, said Mr. Li happily. Never. I can't take it. Yi Chen quickly waved his hand and refused on the spot. Li Lao appreciated Yi Chen's lack of love for money even more and waved his hand to stop it. Master, don't be polite. Please accept it, because the formula for the 9 transformations resurrection pill you gave me will create huge profits in the later stage of research and development and listing. We have actually earned your money, and giving you these shares is not much at all. Yi Chen looked at Li Lao and found that his face was full of sincerity and his eyes were full of longing, hoping that he would accept it. He hesitated. Especially when I think of Wu Shirong's arrogance today, his mother-in-law's disdain, and his wife's anger, all because of lack of money. To rise up, he needed money. He looked at Mr. Li with a serious expression and said, okay. I'll accept it. From now on, the matter of Jishitang will be with me, Yi Chen. Good. That's really great, said Li Lao in an instant. Yi Chen brushed his signature to confirm, and in the blink of an eye, he had become a shareholder of Jishitang with a value of several hundred million yuan, and the Qin group was not as wealthy as him. Just as I put down my pen, I heard a knocking at the door, which made me very anxious. Li frowned and quickly glanced at Yi Xian, obviously worried about being disturbed. He quickly walked to open the door. This detail made Yi Chen even more moved by Li Lao's sincerity. Opening the door, I saw driver Lu Jishe standing at the door with sweat on his forehead, his face pale and anxious. What happened? Li Lao frowned and asked urgently. The driver wiped sweat off his forehead and said, Li Lao, it's not good. The 9-turn resurrection pill has caused an accident, and Lu Dong is going to be killed. How could it be? Yi Chen and Li Lao asked in unison. Hurry up and leave. I'll tell you on the way. The driver picked up Mr. Li and left. I'll go too. Yi Chen remembered that he was also a shareholder now, and it was his duty. The driver wanted to stop, but when he saw that Li Lao was extremely respectful to Yi Chen, he swallowed his words back. After 3 people got on the car, the driver roughly explained the situation. It turned out that Lu Jishe was going to give the 9 transformations resurrection pill to his elder brother Ji Pingbo, who is known as Uncle Bin Haibo. This big shot is also the sky of the entire coastal area. Even though there are 10 major families in the coastal area, they must be obedient in front of Uncle Bo. Uncle Bo has an only daughter, Ji Yunbai, who suddenly fell ill a year ago. At that time, the situation was very urgent. Fortunately, Li Lao intervened and managed to save her life. However, she is still unconscious and cannot be cured. Lu Jishe took the 9 transformations resurrection pill, which greatly improved his body. He thought it might be effective for Ji Yunbai, so he sent it to Uncle Bo. Uncle Bo was overjoyed and immediately gave his daughter medication. As a result, Ji Yunbai's body noticeably improved, but she just didn't wake up. Uncle Bo was anxious, so he asked someone to treat him. However, not only did he not wake up, but it became even more serious. The on-site doctor was afraid of taking responsibility, so he shifted the blame to the excessive efficacy of the 9 transformations resurrection pill, which caused Ji Yunbai's body to overdraw and face death. Uncle Bo was furious and wanted to kill Lu Jishe. Lu Jishe pleaded in every way, as if to get Uncle Bo's agreement and send someone to seek treatment from Mr. Li. Who will treat Uncle Bo's daughter's illness? Li Lao asked. Zhao Zhenzhong. The driver responded. Who is Zhao Zhenzhong? Yi Chen looked at Li Lao and asked. There are 3 doctors and 1 demon in Binhai, and Zhao Zhenzhong is known as the demon doctor. His medical skills are very strong, but he has a wicked mind and is greedy for fame and fortune. His treatment methods are particularly special, often causing people to fall into a state of immortality and not live, until they lose everything. However, if he truly treats diseases and saves people, his medical skills are also advanced, so he is called the demon doctor. Li Lao quickly introduced. By the way, Li Lao, just before I came out, Lu Dong asked me to remind you that the other party may have made Ji Yunbai's treatment complicated in order to obtain your prescription. He made you mentally prepared. The driver suddenly remembered the reminder. Yi Chen was already disgusted by this unseen demon Dr. Zhao Zhenzhong. A doctor with kindness. How to practice medicine if one's mind is not right. Known as a demon doctor, it shows extremely poor character. 20 minutes later, they arrived at Uncle Bo's residence. Uncle Bo lives in the coastal Wulong Mountain, where he has bought all the surrounding land and planted it into a manor. The car travels all the way, and everywhere is filled with the chirping of birds and the fragrance of flowers. Compared to the bustling coastal city, this is a paradise in the world. And the buildings inside are even more magnificent, but Yi Chen is extremely calm. Compared to the once prosperous and powerful Yi family, Uncle Bo, all of this is nothing compared to the big witch. However, the luxury of Uncle Bo's villa inspired Yi Chen's dream of regaining glory. Arriving at the 2nd floor, a group of people stood inside. In the middle of the crowd sat a middle-aged man with sword eyebrows, tiger eyes, and a powerful and self-righteous demeanor. At this moment, he sat on the chair, his hands tightly gripping the armrests, his face filled with anger. He is Bo Shuji Pingbo. On his left side, there stood a tall and imposing man with a seductive gaze. He is the demon Dr. Zhao Zhenzhong. On the right side, there was a middle-aged man with a pale face, beads of sweat rolling down his forehead, and shivering. He is Lu Jishe. Li Lao, you're here. Hurry up and save my daughter. Uncle Bo saw Li Lao and quickly put away his arrogance, stood up and said excitedly. Li Lao glanced at the hospital bed, and Ji Yunbai lay quietly without any reaction, except that her face had turned blue and purple, as if her condition was severe. Li Lao knew he couldn't be cured and shook his head, saying, I'm powerless, otherwise it wouldn't have been a year without being saved. Uncle Bo's face suddenly changed, his eyes filled with disappointment, and it was indeed so. However, I can recommend a divine doctor to you, Li Lao quickly continued. Divine doctor. Where is it? Uncle Bo reignited hope, full of surprises. That's him. Li Lao raised his hand and pointed to Yi Chen, emphasizing, my master. Uncle Bo was stunned. And a voice with a strange tone of yin and yang had already sounded beside him, if you are incompetent and shameless, it's okay. Find a cat and dog as a divine doctor and claim to be your master. Are you a fool when you are Uncle Bo, or are you playing with Uncle Bo? The atmosphere on site instantly became tense. Chapter 9. Pitying the Heart of Parents in the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhao Zhenzhong, what are you talking nonsense about? Although Li Lao was afraid of Uncle Bo and didn't dare to scold him loudly, he still humiliated Yi Chen and made him angry and questioned. Zhao Zhenzhong ignored Li Lao's anger and looked at Uncle Bo. Traditional Chinese medicine emphasizes sedimentation and accumulation, which is why famous TCM practitioners are all elderly. Now Li Fengshan is leading a young man, known as a divine doctor, and even claims to be his master. Can you believe Uncle Bo? Then he turned his head to look at Mr. Li and said, you brought such a young man to treat Uncle Bo's daughter with malicious intentions. What do you want to do? Does Uncle Bo trust you, and you want to use Uncle Bo's trust to play tricks on him? Uncle Bo's face, which had originally seen Li Lao's happy expression disappear in an instant, expressed his agreement with Zhao Zhenzhong's analysis in silence. He looked coldly at Li Lao with questioning in his eyes. Yi Chen, as a young man, obviously does not believe in being a divine doctor and wants an explanation. If medical skills are determined based on age, you don't need to come. Just find a turtle to treat the illness and ensure sufficient experience. Yi Chen attacked and slandered Zhao Zhenzhong when he spoke. Zhao Zhenzhong didn't expect Yi Chen to speak so sharply, secretly belittling him as inferior to the turtle and inferior to the turtle. Isn't he just a bastard? Kid, do you dare to curse me in secret? Yi Chen looked innocent and said, "What's wrong with you? I said you're not as good as a turtle. Do you feel wronged? It doesn't matter, whether you're a turtle or a bastard, no one is arguing with you. You. Shut up." Zhao Zhenzhong was completely angered and turned his head to look at Uncle Bo. He's just a fraud. You can't let him act recklessly here, you must drive him out. Are you making a decision for Uncle Bo? Yi Chen asked coldly. Zhao Zhenzhong realized that he had leaked something and quickly covered his mouth and shook his head, nervously looking at Uncle Bo. If misunderstood by Uncle Bo, he will die dead. Yi Chen continued to ask, "Drive me away, Miss Ji, can you save me?" Zhao Zhenzhong lowered his head. "Can you really save my daughter?" Uncle Bo stared at Yi Chen with sharp and deep eyes, revealing verification. "Of course it can be treated. Okay. If you can save my daughter, I'll give you 1 billion directly. From now on, in the coastal area, you can be on equal footing with me," Uncle Bo said happily. Hush. Lu Jisher, Li Lao, and others took a deep breath, but this condition was quite generous. 10 billion yuan is a drop in the bucket for Uncle Bo, but on an equal footing, that's the sky by the seaside. Yi Chen said, "Even the seaside trembles 3 times, and they all have to worship. This medical fee is definitely heavy enough." Upon hearing the money, Zhao Zhenzhong's eyes lit up and a hint of malice flashed. He straightened his waist and looked at Uncle Bo. "I can also treat it." "You." Uncle Bo was puzzled and clearly didn't believe it. Zhao Zhenzhong said calmly, "Uncle Bo, I actually have a unique family tradition called the anti-heavenly needle technique, which can cure it. Why didn't you say it earlier?" Uncle Bo rebuked with anger in his tone. "Uncle Bo, I understand. The reason why I didn't say it is because this young man stole the formula of our family's 9 transformations resurrection pill. I want to understand the young man's background. More importantly, my life-saving method was too costly." Zhao Zhenzhong looked aggrieved and embarrassed. Yi Chen's mouth curved as he heard the driver's reminder in advance, "All right. If you can cure Miss Ji, I will give you the formula for the 9-turning soul resurrection pill. It's not given to me, it's returned to its rightful owner." Zhao Zhenzhong suppressed his ecstasy and pretended to be righteous. Yi Chen didn't care, "It doesn't matter. It's okay, come on. What did you mean by sacrifice just now?" Uncle Bo looked at Zhao Zhenzhong and asked. "I use my yang energy to shorten my lifespan," Zhao Zhenzhong replied. "Use yang qi to shorten lifespan." This left Yi Chen slightly stunned. Is this legendary demon doctor very skilled and secretive? Uncle Bo was overjoyed and grateful. He took a step forward and shook his fists at Zhao Zhenzhong, saying, "Dr. Zhao saved his life. I will compensate you with money, and I will give you 2 billion yuan." He is more willing to trust Zhao Zhenzhong, on the one hand because of his reputation, and on the other hand because of his age and experience, which cannot be compared to Yi Chen. Uncle Bo brushed his brush and wrote a check worth 2 billion yuan, handing it to Zhao Zhenzhong. "Heal my daughter, from now on in the seaside, you will be on equal footing with me. Your business is my business. Zhao Zhenzhong was overjoyed when he saw that he had doubled the money for himself. He quickly brought the medicine box over and said, "Uncle Bo, don't worry. Today, I will use a life-changing move to wake up the young lady immediately." Zhao Zhenzhong already has more than 10 silver needles in his hands. "Thank you, Dr. Zhao." Uncle Bo's eyes lit up with excitement. In order to wake up his daughter, he has been working hard for over a year, unable to seek help from renowned doctors. Now, he finally sees hope. Zhao Zhenzhong picked up a silver needle and directly pierced Ji Yunbai's Shinting acupoint. Then the second one penetrated into the Baihui acupoint. Then he penetrated into his temples. Lunar acupoints. Yi Chen looked at the silver needle pierce down and couldn't help but furrow his brow. This needle technique was very strange. Zhao Zhenzhong ignored Yi Chen's expression and continued to insert silver needles one by one. Uncle Bo and others saw Ji Yun's white face turn rosy, his breathing intensified, his body trembling slightly, his heart excited, and his eyes turned red. Li Lao and Lu Jisher looked surprised. Could this Zhao Zhenzhong really be cured? Didi, the instrument connected to Ji Yunbai's body, began to change data. Ji Yunbai seems to be able to wake up at any time. Li Lao's face was solemn and he thought to himself, is Zhao Zhenzhong so skilled in medicine? Yi Chen's expression became even more solemn, but he only stared at the silver needle. Zhao Zhenzhong's face was already filled with a proud smile, and he picked up the last silver needle to prepare to pierce into the heavenly court acupoint. "Stop it!" Yi Chen shouted, "You're killing someone." Zhao Zhenzhong trembled with fear and accidentally pricked his arm, unable to help but let out a muffled groan. However, he immediately endured the pain and looked at Yi Chen, suppressing his guilty and ghostly expression. He proudly said, "What are you shouting blindly? You're not using the heaven-defying needle technique, you're using the returning yang needle technique," Yi Chen shouted angrily. Zhao Zhenzhong's face changed dramatically again, and Yi Chen actually knew him. He doesn't believe it. This is a very ancient needlework, even if Mr. Li stands next to him, he can't recognize it. How does this kid know? Uncle Bo originally saw his daughter wake up immediately, but was interrupted by Yi Chen for treatment and became furious. "Are you looking for death?" Zhao Zhenzhong had regained his composure, with a gloomy expression and a haughty expression, and said, "Kid. Don't you want Miss Ji to wake up?" Turning his head to Uncle Bo, "He humiliated me. I can bear it, but I'm sorry that I didn't let you wake Miss up. Now it can prove even more that he is a fraud." Zhao Zhenzhong pulled out the silver needle from his arm. "I won't treat this disease anymore. Please hire another expert." Zhao Zhenzhong's situation was exposed, and dirty water was poured on Yi Chen, making him appear tall and upright. "Stay out of the situation and don't care. Uncle Bo, Yi Chen is not a scammer, he has excellent medical skills." Li Lao was worried that Uncle Bo would be furious and kill Yi Chen, so he quickly helped defend himself. Uncle Bo's face was cold and he controlled his anger. "Li Lao, I didn't hold you responsible for the 9-turn soul resurrection pill incident. Why did you bring such a young man to stop and wake up my daughter?" Li Lao's face was pale and his eyes were tense. "Uncle Bo, listen to me." Uncle Bo waved his hand and said, "You guys go. I don't believe you guys. If it weren't for Li Lao saving his daughter's life in the beginning, he would definitely have killed her directly." Zhao Zhenzhong frowned and sneered, "Uncle Bo is wise." He looked at Li Lao and Yi Chen, "Why don't you leave quickly? Don't you thank Uncle Bo for sparing his life?" "Zhao Zhenzhong, you," said Li, feeling frustrated and angry. Zhao Zhenzhong sneered, "If it weren't for Yi Chen causing trouble, Miss Ji would have been rescued just now." "Uncle Bo, there's a problem with Zhao Zhenzhong," Yi Chen said with a calm expression, staring at Zhao Zhenzhong, "What's wrong with him? What about you?" Uncle Bo was obviously angry at Yi Chen for not leaving yet, feeling at a loss. "Kid, you've been disobedient all along. Please wake up Miss Ji and show me." Zhao Zhenzhong shouted. Yi Chen calmly looked at Zhao Zhenzhong and said, "It's not difficult to treat the illness, but the key issue is that Miss G's hidden illness is difficult to cure." Hidden illness? Uncle Bo asked in confusion. Ha! You're so ridiculous, you can't cure yourself, you've pulled out all the hidden diseases. Zhao Zhenzhong said sternly with disdain. Didn't you see it? Yi Chen sneered and asked calmly. No. Zhao Zhenzhong responded truthfully. Uncle Bo also shook his head and said, "My daughter has no hidden illness." Yi Chen. Isn't she born prematurely? Didn't she cause her mother's difficult childbirth and death? Ha, ha. How dare you talk to Uncle Bo like this? Zhao Zhenzhong felt that Yi Chen was extremely foolish. What kind of person is Uncle Bo? It's really urgent to make such comments without even realizing it. Intentionally stirring up trouble and adding fuel and vinegar, he said, "Kid, you're really talking nonsense. You're the same age as Miss G, and you dare to speak shamelessly about Miss G's difficult childbirth. Do you really think you've come back from time travel?" Li Lao also had a frightened expression on his face. Yi Chen had said this, and Uncle Bo was furious and would definitely die. "Shut up!" Uncle Bo suddenly shouted at Zhao Zhenzhong, staring at Yi Chen with a serious expression. Xie Zhenzhong trembled with fear and said, "Uncle Bo, he's deceiving people." He angrily looked at Yi Chen and said, "Playing tricks and deceiving Uncle Bo." However, Uncle Bo's eyes shot towards Zhao Zhenzhong like sharp swords. "Mr. Yi is not wrong. My daughter was born prematurely, and her mother died of massive bleeding from giving birth to her." "What?" the crowd exclaimed in astonishment. "Impossible." Zhao Zhenzhong's face turned pale and he murmured to himself. Uncle Bo's face was solemn as he said, "My wife was frightened and her fetal gas was disturbed, so she gave birth prematurely. At that time, due to special circumstances and her difficulty in stopping bleeding, she died of premature birth and massive bleeding." Zhao Zhenzhong was stunned. Li Lao was stunned. Looking at Yi Chen one after another, "Can you tell? Uncle Bo completely believes in Yi Chen at this moment. After all, other doctors have not spoken up. But Yi Chen can speak without looking at the patient or examining the condition, and his medical skills are magical." The attitude towards Yi Chen suddenly changed, and he respectfully asked, "Can you wake up my daughter?" Yi Chen admired Uncle Bo's love for his daughter very much, and even this fatherly love moved him. He nodded and said, "Of course. It's just a secret illness." "What's wrong with the secret illness?" Uncle Bo asked urgently. "It's not difficult, it just takes time." Yi Chen said slowly. "Who?" Uncle Bo took a deep breath and knelt down with a thud for Yi Chen. "If you can save my daughter, I'll give it to Mr. Billions, and we'll be on equal footing in the future," he said. "Poor parents in the world." Uncle Bo, for the sake of his daughter, has set aside his noble dignity and spared no expense. Everyone at the scene was shocked and covered their mouths. Yi Chen instantly became a billionaire, and Bin Hai was one of the few. "Don't worry. I don't want the money, I will definitely cure the disease." Yi Chen smiled calmly and refused. The rise of the Yi family requires money, but more importantly, people. He has set his sights on Uncle Bo. Uncle Bo was stunned, not expecting that Yi Chen did not love wealth. "Ha!" Zhao Zhenzhong chuckled lightly and said, "If you don't wake up after treatment today, you need to hand over the 9 transformations resurrection pill prescription, then kneel down and apologize to me. Get out of here." He hasn't forgotten his goal yet. Chapter 10. Uncle Bo's Promise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Chen ignored Zhao Zhenzhong. This kind of person is insatiable. Walking to the bedside, his gaze fell on Ji Yun's white face, exquisitely beautiful. Although pale, it exuded a sickly beauty that was no less than Qin Feishue's. Just because of her illness, she now appears very bleak, even causing heartache and sympathy. Yi Chen only observed and did not take action. Uncle Bo. This guy is blaspheming Mississippi. Zhao Xinzhong took the opportunity to falsely accuse and incite Uncle Bo to refuse Yi Chen's rescue. Uncle Bo furrowed his brows slightly, displeased with Yi Chen, and also thought he was sleazy. Yi Chen looked up at Uncle Bo and said, "Which doctors have come to treat Miss today?" Uncle Bo suppressed his displeasure and said, "Apart from the Western doctors he usually takes care of, only Zhao Xinzhong and you have been here. You can't cure it, do you want to find objective reasons?" Zhao Xinzhong immediately sarcastically. Uncle Bo looked at Yi Chen, who had been unwilling to seek treatment and impatient. Yi Chen looked at Zhao Xinzhong and said coldly, "You probably have a good plan for treating Miss G's illness, right? I'm here to treat my illness, not for money, but to help Uncle Bo." Zhao Xinzhong, however, turned pale and quickly defended himself. Uncle Bo didn't speak and didn't understand what Yi Chen meant, but Zhao Xinzhong did not mention the diagnosis fee. "It's not for money. Then your heart can be punished even more." Yi Chen's expression became even colder, staring at Zhao Xinzhong as if wanting to see through his thoughts. "What are you talking nonsense? I'm just treating illnesses and saving lives." Zhao Xinzhong's eyes showed panic, trying to cover it up with anger. "Heal the patient." Yi Chen sneered and raised his voice. "I think you want to kill people." He turned to look at Old Li. "Do you give Miss G acupuncture and moxibustion on weekdays?" Li Lao was puzzled, but shook his head and said, "I don't have that ability, it's just medication. Uncle Bo only wants to save his daughter. He is dissatisfied with Yi Chen's repeated questions and directly helps answer. Old Li only recuperates. In the past year, only Zhao Xinzhong has helped with acupuncture and moxibustion." Yi Chen looked at Lu Jishe and Li Lao and said, "There's no problem with the 9 transformations resurrection pill." "Why is that?" Li Lao was surprised. "Miss G is seriously ill on the one hand, and on the other hand, during her recovery process, her acupoints were sealed and her qi and blood were blocked." "What does it mean?" Uncle Bo asked in confusion. "Someone inserted a silver needle into Miss G's body, causing her physical function to recover abruptly. However, the efficacy of the 9 transformations resurrection pill was controlled locally, causing Miss G's body to be unable to bear it and her condition to worsen." During Yi Chen's speech, his gaze remained fixed on Zhao Xinzhong. Zhao Xinzhong's face turned pale with a cold sweat on his forehead, and he felt a bit nervous. Uncle Bo instantly understood why Yi Chen was asking, and even guessed what Zhao Xinzhong had done. His face was gloomy, and his 2 eyes were like sharp swords, landing on Zhao Xinzhong's face. Zhao Xinzhong knew that offending Uncle Bo would have terrible consequences, so he pretended to calm down and panic, angrily saying, "You are wronging me. Don't admit it." Yi Chen sneered, "No problem. I'll prove it right away." Walking to the head of Ji Yunbai's bed, my hand landed on Ji Yunbai's Tanzhong acupoint. "Uncle Bo, he's taking advantage of Mississippi." Zhao Xinzhong was frightened in his heart, but when he saw Yi Chen's hand touching between his breasts, he quickly spoke out and instigated, hoping Uncle Bo would stop him. Uncle Bo was very calm this time and didn't stop, which disappointed Zhao Xinzhong a bit. Yi Chen quickly tapped several acupoints around Tanzhong acupoint with his hand, then picked up a silver needle that Zhao Xinzhong had just used, brushed it and inserted it into 9 acupoints. Quickly moving, flowing like clouds and water, all in one go. Everyone at the scene was startled and thought to themselves, "Master of medical skills." Zhao Xinzhong was even more frightened. Yi Chen's acupuncture and moxibustion technique was superior to his own, and he was about to be exposed. 9 silver needles went down, and inside Ji Yun's by Shanzhong acupoint, there were actually silver needles coming out of his body bit by bit, like bamboo shoots sprouting from the ground. This, Uncle Bo and others were stunned. Looking at Yi Chen, he was amazed as a fairy. Yi Chen reached out and grabbed the tail of the silver needle, pulling it out with force. The silver needle is exactly the same as the one Zhao Xinzhong used just now. Uncle Bo's heart was filled with murderous intent, and his face was gloomy. He suddenly looked at Zhao Zhenzhong and said sternly, "Do you want to die?" "Uncle Bo, that's not mine." Zhao Zhenzhong's face turned pale and he retorted. Uncle Bo sneered and frowned coldly, "Whose is that?" "I don't know." Zhao Zhenzhong pretended to be ignorant and then deliberately looked at Old Li. "The silver needles are identical. I don't know how long ago they were left. Want to frame a crime?" Yi Chen sneered, "Don't worry. It will be clear soon." Upon hearing this, Zhao Zhenzhong became even more frightened. Now, Yi Chen felt terrifying to him, but he still angrily rebuked and disguised himself, saying, "You deliberately framed me." Yi Chen remained silent and continued to use the 9-turning resurrection needle. In a blink of an eye, the 9 needles went in and out several times. Yi Chen lightly tapped Ji Yunbai's forehead and said, "Wake up." Ah! Ji Yunbai, who had been unconscious for a year, suddenly let out a soft and weak moan, and her eyelids twitched twice before opening them. "I really woke up. After a year of coma, I woke up." Yunbai. Uncle Bo was overjoyed and burst into tears. This year, even if he is a strong coastal warrior, he still worries about his daughter. His daughter woke up, it was his hope, it was his dream. A year of anticipation has finally turned into reality, filled with excitement. "Dad. I'm so tired," Ji Yunbai said weakly in her voice. Uncle Bo's tears were once again touched, and finally he heard his daughter calling out for him. "This year, I don't know how many times I have hoped in my dreams. I thought this life was hopeless and couldn't help but shed tears." Yi Chen asked calmly, "Miss Ji, did you feel any pain from being punctured in your body today?" "Zhao Zhenzhong, you want to kill people and silence them." The next second, Yi Chen suddenly shouted and waved his hand at the same time. Ding ding dang dang. The sound of silver needles colliding in the air. Uncle Bo and others quickly looked and saw 6 silver needles landing by Ji Yunbai's bed. Zhao Zhenzhong's raised hand had not yet been retracted, and his face was full of cruelty. Uncle Bo's face turned cold as he was about to order his subordinates to kill Zhao Zhenzhong. Zhao Zhenzhong quickly retreated to the window without even looking outside, turned around and jumped out to escape. Uncle Bo was furious and said, "Damn it. How dare you lie to me? Someone, search the entire coastal city for me. Zhao Zhenzhong, any accomplice will be shot to death." "Yes." Uncle Bo's men chased after him fiercely. Yi Chen was secretly shocked, Uncle Bo was powerful enough. A life is just a decision. Kill decisively. "Mr. Yi, please accept my bow again." Uncle Bo's face was full of sincerity, and he was about to kneel down again for Yi Chen. "You're welcome." Yi Chen raised his hand and a surge of internal strength lifted him, supporting Uncle Bo's kneeling body. Treating and saving people is the duty of a doctor. Uncle Bo was shocked by Yi Chen's strong internal strength and even more so by his free-spirited character. He said confidently, "The $10 billion check will be delivered soon. From now on, in the coastal area, your words will be mine, and your affairs will be mine." Lu Jishe and Li Lao were shocked to see that Uncle Bo, like him, had kneeled twice to Yi Chen, showing genuine respect for him. Thinking back to Uncle Bo's promise, Yi Chen's position in Uncle Bo's eyes was unattainable. "If Uncle Bo is grateful, keep it a secret for me about today's matter," Yi Chen suddenly pleaded. Uncle Bo was slightly stunned, but quickly understood. He secretly praised Yi Chen for being low-key and said, "Don't worry, Yi Shao. No one dares to say anything about today's situation." Lu Jishe and Li Lao were once again shocked. Uncle Bo called Yi Shao, the first person in Binhai. "Uncle Bo, don't worry, Yi Shao." Lu Jishe and Li Lao quickly agreed to keep it a secret. Yi Chen was satisfied and said, "I will prescribe a conditioning medicine later to help Miss Ji regulate her body. She will recover in about a week, and then I will help deal with the underlying illness. Uncle Bo was once again moved. Thank you very much, Mr. Yi. Yi Chen prescribed a good prescription, and Uncle Bo wanted to take it. Yi Chen handed it directly to Mr. Li, saying, drug selection and preparation require experience and ability, and Mr. Li has been very good at regulating Miss Ji before. It's better for Mr. Li to continue. Li Lao was moved to tears. On the surface, Yi Chen arranged his own work, but in reality, he acknowledged his past contributions in taking care of Ji Yunbai and gave himself another chance to make contributions. The quality of the medicinal materials in Jishutang is good, so choose the medicine from there. Yi Chen continued. Lu Jisher's eyes were moist, and he almost got killed by Uncle Bo because of the 9-turn soul resurrection pill. Now, Yi Chen not only helps to clear the siege, but also gives himself a chance to show off. This kind of opportunity is rare and hard to come by. Yi Chen showed great kindness to himself. Uncle Bo understood and immediately agreed, we will handle everything according to Mr. Ye's arrangements. Mr. Li and Ji Shi, this matter is hard for you. Uncle Bo, you're welcome. We're willing. The two of them responded happily. Yi Chen arranged everything and left Bo Shu Wulong Mountain with Li Lao and Lu Jisher.